Just depends on all right, 7. We'll go ahead and get started. All right, welcome to May. Hey, welcome to May. We got Dayton. We got the Hamvention coming up this weekend, don't we?
Next weekend.
Next weekend.
Y Cinco de Mayo today.
Oh, yeah, today we got that going on. It's a big popular day. Anyway, I want to run around the room, get introductions real quick, then we'll get some committee reports. And then I'm going to let Jim finish up with his report, and then he'll talk about the fox hunt. I think you said we need to spend some time on that. And then we'll let our presentation go so that way we can get into it and everybody give him plenty of time. So let's go around the room. Go ahead, David.
David Richardson, Whiskey 9 Kilo Hotel Zulu, Lexington.
Fred Kendig, WA3IDX, Winchester.
The other, or number 2, Dave Richardson, KY4DR, also Lexington.
Teresa Richardson, this is Scott, KQ4 MMR, Lexington.
Joe, Lexington.
Should be on the other side over there.
New call.
Still can't get used to it.
That's a new call there. Go ahead.
Larry George, WD4IOW from Mount Sterling.
Hi, welcome. Go ahead, next.
Victor, KD, and Lexington.
Very good.
Cal Smith, WX1APC, Lexington.
Welcome.
Bob, KK2ICU, Georgetown.
Who's back there in the corner?
Bart.
Bart.
KB4FEE.
All right. Go ahead.
Day 3, not Richardson. KQ4SEQ.
Roger, KE4ZNI.
Anthony, Kilo Quebec 4, Sierra India Zulu, Lexington.
Joe, KL4UHG, Lexington.
Kevin Griffiths, KR4ARL, Lexington.
Katie Griffiths, adjacent. Margie Williams, KE4MJ.
Hi.
Bernie Williams, KE4 MAI.
Jim Strands, Kilo Romeo 4, Charlie Romeo Whiskey, Mount Sterling.
Brandon, KQ4YHM,
Mike, KD4SN, Lexington.
Tim, KY4, LEX, Lexington.
Jim, KI4SR, Lexington.
Frank, KA4 USA.
John, KS4GL.
All right. You, and me, KB4 QNR. I'm Bobby. And yeah, I'm from just through the field over there. I grew up on Georgetown Road, so I'm used to this side of town. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the shack. David, what do you got?
I'll give a quick report. The last meeting we talked about, it might have been the last meeting or the one before, but I did order and we have received the brand new antenna for the 7.6 machine. It's in my house. As soon as they call me and say, and I've already put word into them to let me know, which I knew they would, but then we'll have another big check to write when they come to tower to hang it. But we got the 620 in, which was the heavy duty one, so hopefully it'll be there when our grandkids are sitting here in these places. So
Very good.
and let's see, the shack done the demarcation box on the short tower is up, and I'm going to start running some coax through it, and we need to get your mesh node in place because I want to get that online. So we'll have a mesh tested node here as well. I guess that's it. Everything else seems to be working fine. So we got a lot of repeaters. I hope you guys are using them. And got a good contact today from somebody who has some property in Bourbon County, Paris. Believe it or not, I was on DMR 3100. This guy's in Georgia, but he's got family in Paris, And he hollered at me back, because I was talking to Frank. He said, I got family in Paris. So then he starts telling me that they have some property, might be able to put a repeater up there on his property in Paris. So that would be a spot that is kind of a void right now in Paris. So
That'd be good. That'd be
nice to
awesome.
get one there. So
That would be nice.
that's about all I got.
Very good, very good. DR2, you got anything you want to say?
Yeah, the storms have been kind to us. We don't, haven't had to respond to anything. The earthquakes haven't been anywhere near here, you know, nothing special, so no disasters to report on.
Yeah, thank goodness. All right, let's see. Let's go back here. Bart, what do you got for us today?
Test session is next Saturday here, I think it's Fernie's. Is that correct?
Yes.
So we got test session next Saturday.
All right.
Can I ask Bart a question?
Sure.
Bart, do you know approximately how many new members we've gained this year?
Handful.
Do you have a number?
No, I don't have a number.
I know it was 9, 4, and I think 7, wasn't it?
I
Sound
say we're
right?
at about 20.
So that makes 20.
I think we're at about 20, I guess.
Just new members this year.
Man, that's awesome.
Give yourself a round of applause.
That's right. And encourage any friends or spouses or family members that, hey, communication's what it's all about. We need to be able to talk to you guys, so maybe you can make hams out of them too. That'd be great. Let's see. Well, Fernie's got that test session Saturday.
That's this Saturday?
Yes, the
Yes.
I'll
Okay.
talk to you afterwards.
All right, let's go ahead and, I guess, Jim? You,
well, I can.
want to go ahead and talk about education, the class, and then
Our,
Fox Hut?
we're still having random kind of get-togethers now on Wednesday night. And hopefully we'll have a couple more generals and extras in another, maybe after this coming test.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think one of the guys is gonna take it online, and I think 2 people are gonna try to attend this one coming up, so anyways. So that's going well, so we'll round down after that. And then we got the fox hunt coming up. We got, and Dave's, tentative build, for people who want to participate in the fox hunt. If you don't have a Yagi or some kind of direction.
May 24th.
Yeah. Anyway, that's about it, I guess.
So they'll have, if you need to build one of these yagis or get a child involved, if you want to bring your kid along or something like that, you know, they can go down there on Saturday and build these tape measure antennas, and when they pump stuff with them, they just fold in. So it's safe for the kids, you know. So I've seen them all over Dayton running around with them things before, and they're crazy. But anyway, fox hunt coming up, that'll be great. So,
And by the way, that's just, all we need, they're teams typically, and all we need is one amateur. So that means you can bring your wife or kid or friend, and whether they have a license or not. Driver's license you need, amateur.
there you go. All right, well, real good.
And we have pizza afterwards.
That's right.
That's right.
Pizza for everybody, there's a prize for the winning team, and then afterwards, the club furnishes pizza downstairs in the shack.
I want to say something about the 10K race. David's got that going on again this year, and I think that's awesome. So there's a lot of new members, a lot of KQs, a lot of KRs. You guys maybe have never done this before. You should go. You should get your HT and get with Dave, and he'll need at least 12, won't you, Dave? And so you can always use a few more.
Sure.
There can always be more. So let me encourage you guys that are newly licensed about a year ago or whatever, get involved and get involved with some of this public service at first, and it's a lot of fun. And you get some recognition. Get out there and strut your ham radio stuff, man.
Some of us old farts don't mind having a newbie with us to sort of, help them along, so hey.
Yeah, Yeah, you need to be able to spot those runners and those numbers, don't you?
Right.
So, make sure you can see, you know, if you got somebody that can help you catch the runners' numbers as they go by, the checkpoints. So, please, step up, get involved. I'd love to see that.
And honestly, there's more opportunities that our club has a year. I mean, there's a bunch of members in the club, but getting people to commit to do something like this, I mean, there's the 3-day event out at the horse park. I mean, we've got a good connection there, and they always ask, just say, let me know when you guys are ready to start doing the comps for this again. So
That's awesome.
but that's a commitment, you know. I mean, it's like 10
And that's
hours a day,
that's the
3 days.
Rolex.
Yeah.
The Rolex. So, hey,
So it would take lots of people. And then there's another race that's in Woodford County, and I'm supposed to get with them here real soon to see if we could do that. That's it's outside, obviously. It's a 10K race, but it's a new race in Woodford County. So, you know, as long as we get a pretty good group of people that's willing to commit to these types of things, we could do more. It is good PR. Yes, sir.
I'm assuming this race is on Memorial Day, the 26th?
What's that?
4th of July.
the 4th of July.
I'm sorry, it's not the Memorial?
No, it's July 4th.
It's the 10K, the Bluegrass 10,000. That's
Okay.
what we're gonna.
Sorry,
It's okay, it's a big one.
yeah.
And you know, the deal, I was going to be honest with you guys, the race starts at 7, and they expect you in your place by 6. So you need to like be there at like 5:30, so you can get assigned your spot. And then that way you can get in there and park and everything. They'll let you through, so because they block all the roads. So we get positioned before they got the roads blocked. And get great parking. Yes, sir?
This is BYOC, bring your own coffee.
Bring your own everything.
Yeah.
And a radio.
Sunblock, whatever you need, bring it all.
And a chair. Well, you have your chair.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring a wagon and a solar charger that's 1 kilowatt.
Whatever you need, but
Whatever
honestly,
you
all you
need.
need is an HT.
Well, if anybody needs to recharge, they can come
Okay.
to my station and do it. So-
Yes, sir?
What did the Hams do at the 3-day event? We used to drive golf carts and.
Yeah, parking and all kinds of stuff. I mean, you know, to help with the parking and give reports, and she gave me, I don't have it with me, but there's a whole list of things. But I mean, it'd probably take about 50 people.
See, we used to drive golf carts, pick up handicap, and then we'd communicate back to a net control that was set up next to first aid teams.
Yeah. Well, you know, in future, that would be kind of cool if we could do that, because I don't know if you all know, but we have a tower trailer. It's got I think it's a 60-foot crank-up tower on it. And we also have a repeater that will fit in there, and I already have a repeater pair that's coordinated for us. And that's a job that maybe we'll work on this summer to get that all ready so that we can have a portable repeater that we can take anywhere, which would be kind of cool.
It'd be totally awesome.
Well, you know, especially from my standpoint.
Sure.
You know, like for instance, Mayfield, there was nothing up there. I mean, except for a couple, the hand towers around it. So we had one on, if we could have had one on that spot, it would have helped a lot.
That's right.
Yeah, you guys did the riverboat thing, right?
Yeah, we did the, there's a, Cincinnati, they have it's a, kind of a city kid thing. They, Paddle Fest is what they call it. And what they do is they start basically one end of Cincinnati, and they got a couple different stops where they can, you know, either shorter or all the way down. I forget what the full length is, maybe 7 miles or something. But anyway, and they assign hams at the different checkpoints. And like for instance, I was at the downstream checkpoint, the end checkpoint, and like one of the things we have to do is watch the river, because at least in theory, there's not supposed to be any boats, non-law enforcement boats on that river at that point. And so we had somebody just cruising up the river, And I checked, I said, put it on the net. And yeah, that guy has permission and he's running subway speed, he's running safe. I'm like, okay, that's him. But it's stuff like that. I mean, you're basically the eyes. And
Right.
we had firemen come down and police come down, just check us out, say hi. But they had the net control has a direct line into the police and fire and Coast Guard and race control. So, I mean, it's really tightly integrated. And like I was talking to one of the firemen, his radio went off and he had to go. And, there was somebody, a jumper on one of the bridges. But, they didn't call us about it. But one of us, was talking about, hey, this bridge is all messed up and there's police all over it and everything. And I wasn't supposed to say anything, of course. But, you're right down there in the nerve center. It's really an interesting thing.
I'll get it done for you.
Well, the police actually caught the guy.
That's good.
Yeah.
Which way?
Before he jumped.
No, they four of them rushed him. Just four of them rushed him, all sides. But I mean, yeah, it gets interesting. There's
a lot of things we can do.
There's hams on the river in the canoes. There's hams on the river in power boats. There's a lot of communications goes on there.
That sounds like a biggie.
It's a useful, and the guy who does it's also Hamlin, or whatever Cincinnati is.
Hamlin.
County, is it Hamlin County? He's the county emergency comms for hams up there. So I mean, I got some lessons there myself. You know what I mean? That's why I went. So anyway, sorry, I'll pick on it.
No, that's okay. I mean, it's nice to just put it out there so we're all aware of it.
Yeah.
I mean, so. Anyway, a lot of events that we can help out. We need you guys to turn out. That's what we need. And we got the members. We just need you to step up and help with some of these big ones, because these are the ones that really give us publicity. And you get you a jacket out there and put on your vest and stand on the corner with your
And you get a free
HD.
t-shirt. At the parades, you get a free t-shirt.
And you can get out there and look like somebody, important. And strut your radio stuff out there. That's what I say. Let's bring it to them.
Look like somebody you know you're not.
That's right. All right. Well, I'm going to let Jim introduce us, our guest and our program for the evening, and then we'll sit back and enjoy.
There he is, Fred.
Oh, Fred.
Hello, Fred.
Come on up here. Tell us about drones, Fred.
I'll tell you a little bit about them. I'm not going to tell you about them. Hi, I'm Fred Kendig from Winchester, WA3IDX. And the way I got into ham radio was because I bought a drone. That's the way it worked out. I bought a drone and I found a bunch of guys that liked to fly drones. It was in the wintertime and we were flying in the Clark County Rec Center. If anybody's been in the Clark County gym, wintertime and year-round we fly in there on Friday mornings. So it's indoors, it's out of the rain, nice place. I stumbled into there just to try out my new drone, and I ran into a guy, WA4 SUH, and he seemed like a nice guy. He told me about drones, taught me how to fly, took me to breakfast, and said, "Can you put a rope in a tree with your drone?" And he wanted to put a rope in the tree so that he could run a wire across his yard, his neighbor's yard, and a tree in the far neighbor's yard, and get on the air. So I was foolish enough to say, yeah, I didn't think I can do that, and we did it. And after that, he showed me his ham shack, and now I'm in ham radio. So I like to fiddle around with things and see where they lead me. Drones are a neat, popular subject, and everybody's got their own opinion. Does everybody have a drone? Has everybody flown a drone?
I've got a toy drone.
Okay. And you get two extremes. There's the toy drone, and then there's the ultra expensive drone. Well, I'm going to tell you, there's everything in between too, and they're all a lot of fun. So I'm going to tell you about a couple of mine, and we'll go from there. Just to let you know what you're seeing here, this is just running so that you do not have to listen to me at all. You can watch that, you can look like you're paying attention, and nobody will care.
Are there subliminal messages in there?
Pardon me?
Are there subliminal messages?
I'm kind of hungry.
Yeah.
I didn't think you'd pick up on it that quick.
And smell of these.
This is just stuff that I've taken with the drone. It's a random bunch of pictures. And one of the really neat things about a drone is photography. My initial desire for a drone was to have a really high tripod. And that's all I knew about it. So I started taking pictures from a drone, and that's where the adventures started. So this is just miscellaneous stuff. Has to do with radio, has to do with antennas, has to do with the airfield. So that's just what that is. So either pay attention or don't pay attention.
Is that the airfield out at Avon?
Yeah, that's the LMAC field, Lexington model airplane project.
I was going to say, I have landed on a couple of runways about that.
Well, that's a 600-foot paved runway out there.
It's nice.
It's 50 acres of ground. It's right next to the landfill, but of course the landfill's pretty much closed up. So that used to be kind of a stigma sort of thing.
The funny thing about this is the county paid for all this stuff when they ran them out over, they were over in oh shoot.
Masterson Station.
Masterson Station. And somebody put a plane through to somebody else's roof, and they decided that this was the better part of Valor. And actually put some money in it. It's absolutely beautiful. There's very, very few airfields like this anywhere.
Right.
For modern
People
for
that come
modern.
from all over the country to fly in that field. They've got vintage events. It fills with campers and motorhomes and the whole thing. They fly for a week. So it is a fantastic facility.
It's a nice facility for models.
Yep, and it's covered. There's cameras that you can connect and see how many people are out there and all that kind of stuff. It's really nice, and it's great for flying anything you want. There's see the circle?
Circle over.
I wish I could point this thing.
There.
See there? That circle was for line flying, you know, control line.
Control line.
That's what that was originally for. I use it for drones because it keeps me off the main runway and keeps me out of trouble, so I can take off and around there. So it's great. The Lexington Model Airplane Club, if you don't know it, you've got a twin out there. Okay, and it goes the whole way from the top to the bottom. Radio has got the FCC, and you've got the Bluegrass Radio Club, and you've got all the same hierarchy. You've got licensing, fees, dues, all that kind of thing. Well, flyers have got the same thing. It's the FAA. You've got to be, to some degree, registered, licensed, applied, depending on what you're trying to fly. But that's out there. And there's the Lexington Model Airplane Club. There's 3 clubs in Winchester. Winchester's got the Clark County Barnstormers. They've got the Clark County Float Flyers. And they've got the Clark County Flyers that fly out near Clay City. So the one in Clay City's got a grass field, and it's a registered airport. Airplanes land there in the grass, and model airplane people go out there and fly. The float flyers fly amphibian aircraft at the waste treatment plant. There's a great big pond out of the Winchester waste treatment plant that's no longer used for anything other than...
You said it's not like you want to crash.
Is it sewer water?
No, it is nothing. It is a great big pond, and there's fish. And really, the waste treatment plant is mostly a fish hatchery, and it's the fish that clean the water in Winchester. So it's a pretty clean place. And there are float flyers that go out there and fly airplanes. And then, as I said, there's the Friday morning thing where we fly in the gym. And flying in the gym is kind of an interesting thing. If you know, when you want to talk about inexpensive, I'll kind of go to this part. This is what we fly in the gym. And I'm not going to fly it here because it's fixed wing, and flying here with fixed wing is kind of a little tight, not much. But we fly these in the gym in Winchester, and it's a fantastic little device. It's about $50 worth of flying there. But that weighs about 3 ounces, so you can fly it in the gym, and there's a walking path around the gym, and we do combat. So we'll put 10 or 11 of these in the air at a time, and see who survives and who doesn't.
Are there tables and chairs with that?
I've flown this one into basketball hoops. Because I'm so.
Why do you think there's a cage over the blade, okay?
Yeah, that's all carbon fiber in order to kind of protect it.
Do you ever have any rumbles with the model train clubs?
Not yet.
You just gave it an idea. I can see it here.
So I do want to give you a demonstration before you get too tired of me. And you're going to have to bear with me until I figure out how to.
What's the range on your little airplane?
Mostly the range on that is the battery. It'll fly for about 25 minutes, and it'll go about 30 miles an hour. Beyond that, you've got a range where you can control, and that range is pretty much a mile if you have clear. It's all radio controlled. So I think you guys have heard of radio and line of sight, and that kind of stuff. That all applies to these. So you're flying. However, this drone, and this is a DJI Mini 2, you're looking at $300 worth of drone. So it's not terribly expensive. If you bought a handheld recently, pretty cheap, huh? So it's not expensive. It's a fantastic drone, and you can program it using third-party software. So for 25 bucks, you get a piece of software, you put it on your PC. You can program it with GPS coordinates, and you load the program from your phone off an SD card into the drone. You take off under control, and then it does whatever you told it to do. And the range on that is infinite. It will actually go out of control and then try to come back. And you have to remember, you only have a 25-minute battery. But it literally will fly out of the range of its transceiver, and it's flying on its own control under GPS locating. It'll go do what you tell it to do and come back, and you're not limited by any range here.
So let me ask you.
And you can pick up the video from it, which you're going to do over here, for about 6 miles.
I was going to ask you about the video. If it's out of range of that, does it record to the SD card in that?
Yeah.
Some of them will only record to your memory on your phone.
No, it's recorded to the SD card.
Cool.
It's on board. So you're not allowed, but you can do that. Okay. The rules are on remote control flying is you have to be able to see it. The pilot has to see it. You can't use a relay person. The pilot has to see the drone.
With the exception of rescue operations.
Well, legally, for amateurs, you gotta do it. There are all kind of rules if you go military and all the rest of it, but for our world, amateurs, legally you have to be able to see it. And the violations of that are 1 million a day.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk among yourselves until I figure out what I can do.
I guess people use them for storm spotting and stuff too.
Oh yeah, there's storm chasers. There's some pretty good video on YouTube of storm chasing with drones. Guys following tornado at like a half a mile. Well, of course, it's cross flat ground and all that, but still, it was pretty bloody cool watching a tornado close up for a while.
It had to have some weight to it. to be
Warning,
able
less than 6
to
satellites.
stand some of the wind.
It automatically tries to find satellites. It would like to have, as she told you, 6 satellites. As often as not, you can pick up 14, 18.
You got 0.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a metal roof here or what the deal is.
Yeah, reception.
In my basement, I get 0. In my upstairs, I can get 14 GPS satellites. It'll fly with them and without them. It's much happier with them. Okay. Now what you're seeing here, and there's multiple ways of flying. Normally you have a transceiver and you fly and you can control the drone. Now when I put a camera on them, that camera now can record the video and it can store it on the SD card. It also relays it back to here.
Warning, less than
So-
6 satellites.
On my phone, I'm seeing what that camera's seeing. And I'm relaying what's on my phone to that monitor. So you're seeing what that's seeing and what I'm seeing here. And that makes it kind of fun. If anybody gets a little nervous, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to damage you. So, but that doesn't mean that I won't.
As long as I won't lose an eye, I'm
Okay, well, keep your glasses on, put on your hats, put your head up.
Where's my kid? Well,
Effectively, you've got altitude control. And now this is one of the big differences between what I'll call a toy drone and a real drone. If it has altitude control, it's a real drone. And you don't have to spend a fortune to get that. But when you're going to buy one for your kids or grandkids, make sure it has altitude control. If it doesn't, you have to fly it all the time. The other difference between drones is that this is a quadcopter. A drone is anything that flies without a person on it. So fixed wing is the other part of drone. A fixed wing, you have to fly it all the time. You're either landing, crashing, or flying. Okay? With a quadcopter, I can gab and go on and pay attention to what I want to do, and it'll stay right where I put it. Within limits. Okay?
When the battery gets weak, does it automatically land?
Yeah. Current drones will sense their battery. When the battery gets weak, they'll sit down on the ground. First, they'll buzz their controller. So it'll tell you it's going to do it. And if you don't land it, it will land.
Does it then tell you where it's at?
Well, it will also go back to home before it lands. So while you're flying around, it's monitoring where it is with respect to where it started. And when the battery gets down to about 70%, it'll go back. It'll actually go up to the limit, fly back, and land where you took off from. So it knows where home is and it'll go back there. Fundamentally, you've got left control, and you've got right control, and you've got forward, and you've got backward, and all that. That's normal flying for a drone, and that's stick control, forward, backward, and right. You can also do yaw, which is going to rotate around. Yeah, and in case you're watching the monitor, you are getting rotating. I should have asked everybody if it's okay to take their picture. But the best I can do is if you don't want your picture taken, either cover your face or leave.
okay, he's already taken here, that's all.
That's right. The way I like to fly, and when you first start, like I said, you go left and you go right. and go forward and go back. But you can also fly, I think it's with your head on. And when you do that, it's going to try to follow the camera. And with the camera, you just kind of fly around in circles this way.
Oh, not that way.
Watch that chair.
Well, I wish I wouldn't have done that.
Still recording.
Yeah, oh, it'll record those things.
Screw it up again, there's the recording of it.
Does that one have follow me? Does this one have follow me?
Yes, yes.
Can you go in with the software and decide how close it would be to you when it's in the follow me? Do you have control over that, how far it is away to follow you?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So is it more expensive and better since we don't run into stuff?
Yeah, you can get them, they've got object collision protection, and they'll monitor the whole way around them, and it will not let that happen. So you're gonna pay more for that one.
Yeah, that was an extra dollar, extra zero on it.
One of the things that I really do like flying it for is, as I said, doing things like putting lines in trees so you can pull. You can't really do that if it's going to prevent you from going into a tree. Okay.
But you can probably turn that off and off.
Yeah, you can turn it on and off. So anyway, I never spent the money for that. Okay, back where I was now, it's flying what it considers to be forward, and whenever I give it yaw, then forward keeps moving. So now you can get into more interesting flight routes.
I used to torture my cat with my little toy gun. You know, once the cat got a paw on it, that was it, it was done.
So you think your cats are shaped like green, that would be on the back of it?
You grab it and run from it.
To me, one of the amazing things is just how stable drones can sit. And this drone will handle 20-mile-an-hour winds and still give you video that's rock solid. And that's where it's weight and gold when you're trying to take pictures.
What the value of that one?
Pardon?
What the value of this one?
This one was about $350.
How about the day I was impressed. I put mine out, I saw it come down. The rest of the good homestead, they came back and landed in homestead. Before it started.
Yep. I've had that go both ways.
The picture's really high resolution.
Yeah, they're really good pictures.
You know, when you dropped your antenna line and stuff, did you put servos on it? I mean, I was hanging a line out here, outside here, using my drone, and it drove the line over the tree just fine, but as it was coming back down the other side, where the line come up, it hit my propeller. Because it stretched, the line was up here and the drone was coming down and it hit my propeller.
That's why you do 300, 400 feet extra line.
What I do because of all of those things is if I'm trying to get over a 50-foot tree, I'll put about 300 feet of line on it. And I'll go up 300 feet and go out, and depending on which way I want to drop it, I'll take the line down and then either tie it off or whatever and then bridge it. But I always want to have more than enough to cover the tree, cover the width of the tree, and then being able to set down without pulling on the rope. I've got some really good video of when I was pulling and you didn't give it enough rope. And you can see the props come in,
Yeah,
and then once the props come in and get a hold of the rope,
it's over.
it's good video. It's really neat.
Less than 6 satellites.
And what it did was it came down and I was just 5 feet short of enough line to hit the ground, which was good because it did not crash. It came down and it swung out.
Does a drone like this require FAA registration?
No. This is a 249 gram drone. And 250 requires registration.
Now you know why the design weight was 249 grams, okay?
If you put the extra life battery on it, you have to register it,
Theoretically.
and you have to have a transponder. So,
Which kills the extra battery.
Warning, less than 6 satellites.
yeah, there are levels like that. The same thing happens.
What's the transponder do?
The transponder works the same as it is on an aircraft. It sends out its GPS coordinates, it sends out who the registrant is, you, and it sends out where you are standing. So
That way
if you are
basically
flying where you're not
everybody's
supposed to be flying, law enforcement can listen to the transponder and they know who you are and where you are. and come get
Yeah.
you.
So what's the rules, like you go down here to Great River Gorge or someplace like that in the parks?
Yeah.
Or the Park Service okay with you flying around in there taking pictures?
What he's talking about is federal FAA rules. It
Right.
doesn't matter where those are.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, and there's, all of that local control is local control. I don't know who you ask where you can fly. There are a lot of places you cannot. State parks, you can't fly.
Even the
National.
city parks here in Lexington, you have to check to see before you can fly a drone.
Someone let you, someone.
Yeah,
Right.
some
Right.
say no drones.
So it's a tough thing, and that's one of the advantages of a flying club. Now, the LMAC field is 50 acres. You can go out there and you can fly and have a great time. Rules are continually changing. Up until last week, we were limited to 400 feet. Now, that will fly about 1,500 feet in the air. But legally couldn't go over 400 feet. Last week, they changed it to where if you're in controlled space, which LMAC field is registered and controlled, we can go 1,200 feet now. So, things like that are changing. And oddly enough, that one's to the betterment of things. Most of them are more restrictive, time in and time out. There's always that possibility you're gonna hit somebody, so insurance is required. You have to have insurance liability in order to fly virtually anywhere. That's the advantage of the AMA, the Academy of Model Aeronautics. Academy of Model Aeronautics. You join that, and that's like the ARRL. You join that, and part of your membership is $2.5 million of liability insurance, which is typically the minimum that's required. So when you think about what kind of damage you can do with a drone,
I don't really think you could do 2.5 meters unless you flew that into some kind of nuclear reactor or something.
Actually,
well, if you fly it into a
tell that to
group of
Morgan and Morgan.
people, you fly it into
Right.
The other thing is, it's not what you think of it. Excellent fire spread. If there's a fire in a field, and you fly over it, you'll triple the size of that fire in a heartbeat. So, yeah, I mean, it's a huge
that's a
downdraft.
big limb.
I mean, like yours, that one I have, that Phantom, is 5 times that size. And it does put out a lot of wind. That's what you have too, right? Phantom?
No, I don't have that on, two is one I have. Well, I have 3 of them actually. and I know, I think two of them are the DJI, and I forget the other one.
How much does yours weigh, Dave, that's 5 times
Oh,
larger?
I had to register it with the FAA,
Yeah.
and I've got a license in my wallet.
The Phantom goes pretty close, 5 pounds. So
It's, I mean, it's got some heft to it now. It almost took up one of these tables. I mean, the propellers,
Is that the one with the landing rails like?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's got a full-size GoPro camera on it.
One thing that I've noticed in my looking at drones is that don't get something the camera's stuck on it, because next year the cameras are gonna double in resolution. Yeah.
This was still HD.
What's the brand
sorry, go ahead.
name and model of that one you just flew?
I'm sorry, what?
What's the brand name and model number?
That's the DJI, and it's a Mini 2.
Maybe two?
Right. They're getting hard to find. Everything's getting higher and more expensive. There's a lot of talk that there are more and more American companies getting into drones, and that's refreshing. Congress is continually, daily, trying to outlaw DJI drones. So
They're just too good.
that
You
drone,
said DJI?
yeah, DJI.
They're Chinese made, that's why they get.
They're Chinese made, and they connect to the internet, and they have information, they store information, and there's concern about anything. Interesting part of that story, if you run out of battery, it'll come back to home. If you go too far, get lost, you hit the button, it'll come back home. If you try to fly someplace you're not supposed to, it'll stop. It will not fly onto an airport. It will not fly into a military. You know, all this stuff about these drones are gathering all this information around this military stuff. You know, they're not mom and pop drones. Because that DJI will not fly into those areas.
The GPS, it's got a huge map in it on the GPS, and all those red zones are mapped out. Now, mind you, especially like, say, around Northern Virginia, you're gonna get badly distorted GPS readings, and it could accidentally do that. So you can't depend on it, but they do redline their maps, so they don't do it by accident.
That's what balloons are
In the
for.
old models,
Yeah, instead of a 30.
DJI's concern is that Congress is trying to outlaw them because of all this communication and all the information they have. So they've decided to take that feature out of their drones because they don't want to keep convincing Congress that they do know where all of our military sites and all of our government buildings. So they're taking that feature out of the drones to where now they will fly in those places to convince Congress that they don't really have the information anymore, like as if they forgot it.
The FAA is literally a 3-mile buffer around the given area.
Yeah.
can't see it on Google Maps.
This is a Phantom swing. And this is kind of first level not toy. You can buy these, I paid $39 for this one. The beauty of a swing is that it kind of works like that, like the DJI drone. But for just a few bucks, it's a vertical takeoff, and you can punch a button and then it flips over and flies.
It's an X-wing.
Like an X-wing. It's a fun little thing.
Does it have altitude control as well?
Yeah, it's got altitude control. So
Wow.
when you take off with it, it'll come up to about a meter and it'll just sit there. That's takeoff and landing. So it'll do a nice job on that. It's so light that it's really hard to fly outdoors. Any movement of the air will cause a problem. And I trimmed, the wings on this were about 3 inches long. I trimmed all that out just with a razor blade and a little torch. And it still flies just the same as it did before, except now you can fly it outside. It's cut down on the windage enough.
So it doesn't
You
use
can
the
fly
wings
outside.
for getting a lift.
Right, it's not really using lift, it's using the props. So this is the kind of thing you can play with, and
Did you prove that we're both agreed?
this is less than $50, yeah.
Would you tell us the model and brand name of that one?
Yeah, it's a Parrot, P-A-R-R-O-T, swing.
Parrot makes a lot of less expensive drone type stuff.
Bobby, you don't need one.
No.
And look who's telling you that, right?
You got a video, so you don't need to get into the drone company. Your wife will run you off.
Don't need one, I need three. That'll get me out.
I want you to know, Frank told me earlier, probably get me one of those drones this summer.
Yeah, but that's Frank, he likes them. Just tell your
I
wife.
don't have 41 HDs though.
It's only a small bit. Well, those things are really cocked.
I think I got maybe 15.
You got 41? Well, maybe 42 now, I don't know.
That was really quiet.
Mike Monifil's got the best line I've ever heard though. He bought that little mic unit,
Yeah.
and his wife said, "What's that?" He said, "It's one of those things where if you fall,
Yeah.
you can get help."
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, okay."
So this, anything he buys, she gets to buy something, just one for herself.
She
She
wasn't
goes to the radio,
interested in
and he said, I mean, that's quick, he said, oh no, it's just in case I fall, I can call emergency. She said, oh, I'm glad you got it.
This one's nowhere near as stable as the DJI.
Yeah.
And with this, you do have to be careful. As I said, it doesn't fly well outside because of the breeze. It does not fly well in air conditioning. Air conditioning breeze will act like a storm when you're flying something that's this light.
There's somebody
That's the case with
sneezing.
these too.
And
Flying these, it's
Can you
a
do
whole
loops,
new game.
can you do loops around here with the?
I won't do this one though.
You gotta try this one.
Kind of chicken on.
Yeah, I have,
You don't want to use his hands.
I've got my fair number of bruises. So
Yeah, it looks
yeah,
like a piece of tape on one of those.
I won't try to fly this one near what I did with the other one. I'm glad to have it in the air.
So what's the purpose of that, just play with it?
Well, when you put it into the gym, where you have some space, now you can have a lot of fun with it. When you fly it on the size of a basketball court, you can lay that thing over and fly. You can have a lot of fun with it. In this room, first of all, it's the height limit. I don't have enough height to play with.
You have to be people in there.
Yeah, and, oh yeah, and there's people.
What's the speed on it? Pretty quick?
Yeah, it's,
Oh! Ow!
Now, that's what's really nice about it.
He's saying when gonna.
better me than thee. Yeah.
It don't weigh nothing.
I was gonna say, what's that one weigh, do you know?
So this is all battery.
That's about, yeah, it's the weight of the battery. That's maybe 7 ounces, 6 ounces.
That's all right.
It's,
So, is it smart enough to know when you go horizontal, that it's about to stall and it'll go back into
Thanks a lot. It
other
doesn't look like it.
configuration? Okay, so you gotta do that yourself. Gotcha.
Yeah, this one's too small to put a gyro in.
And stuff we
Yeah.
used to get,
Yeah.
lots of
It's
wood.
throwing
Yeah, throw.
Another
They come
rubber
back and hit you on the
band.
head.
When I was a kid,
It does have a
yeah,
camera.
the rubber lamp.
It does have a camera and it's on the back bottom side.
Well, that's a good place for it.
It's okay if you're flying
No.
vertical,
Yeah.
normal. You can take pictures of what's directly below you.
Yeah.
You can't, there's no gimbal or anything
No,
like
it's just
that.
fixed.
So it's a fixed camera, but it does record pictures underneath, so.
Is it high def?
I mean, you would
It's
expect a
not-
lot
it's not
more
that
for
good.
$40, wouldn't you?
But it's a darn good camera for under $50.
Yeah, well, that's your basic, I gotta examine my route kind of thing.
Yeah.
As long as there's no wind.
Oh, yeah.
We've kind of played some games with the fixed wing guys. I don't I have one old Champ fixed wing, so I don't get too much into flying the fixed wing. I like the drones mostly again because I was looking for a tracking. But the fixed wing guys have kind of moved over and they're buying a bunch of the very small cameras, the FPV cameras. And you can get a camera that you can put on an airplane for about $15. And it'll operate into a little receiver that plugs into your phone. And you can record. They changed their resolution to lines. So you can get 700 lines, 1,000 lines, 1,200 lines. And if you go back to the days of Atari, and you had 480 by 320 screens.
Yeah. 20 lines,
The pictures weren't actually that bad when you think about it. Well, these are, what 480 is 480 lines. So you can get 700s, 1200s for $15 or $20. Somebody asked if you did anything with like model trains. I did take one of those cameras and put it on a model train. And I used it to record the trip around the track. And it's kind of fun. It's just, all those Christmas things that you play with.
Yep.
Put a little Christmas scene there and drive around with the train. It's like an engineer.
I've seen some of those on YouTube. That's a real nice, easy place to put.
Yeah. They're fun to put different places and you can do anything with those cameras. I just made a list of a bunch of websites. So if you're looking for, if you're looking for the AMA, and there's membership things on there. And the LMAC club is on there, so they've got some pictures and applications. And the Winchester, the Clark County clubs are on there too.
The nice thing about a lot of these drones, because I used to play with model airplanes back in the day, and they were all, 27 megahertz or something like that, CB frequencies and works,
I think I made enough.
which meant that, CB's messing with them and everything. But now, these guys are all Bluetooth frequencies and digital frequency hopping, and they don't notice. I mean, you can get 12 of them in one area, and they'll just deal with each other and go on. Didn't used to be able to do that, so I'm really loving that. Thanks.
You see somebody look like me?
So, they're constantly improving with the digital technologies. These are all digital servos and stuff now. The old analog servos and stuff, yeah, you can still buy them, but nobody much needs to use them.
I have a favor.
Sure, I'll take $1,000.
I'll take it with us. Yeah, just send it to me. That'd be great. Thank you.
We've got some questions.
Okay, questions?
But then sometimes it'll leave it, I didn't see Maria, but.
I don't know if it's obvious to you, but I lost control of what I was saying a long time ago.
You were fine. You're fine.
Okay? Questions, comments? We're done here.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Coming out with small drones, I know a guy that used to video weddings, outside weddings. Yeah, I made a fortune. Really? Yeah, because everybody was doing videos, they'd run in front of everybody and run around there trying to get videos and edit them and everything. Shoot, parks the plane right up her, Realtors use them now. Yeah. Just go through a house. Yeah.
I actually did the eclipse here
That would be
a
great.
little while back.
Yeah.
That'd be neat.
I just went up to 400 feet and locked it on, did the follow, just let it record the whole time.
Really?
And I shot stills from the ground. So.
And you have a DJI Mini?
I've got a 4 Pro,
DJI 4 Pro, okay, mine's a 3 Pro.
so.
So yours is big too, is yours licensed?
No, mine's tiny, mine's exactly.
Oh, you got a Mini?
Mini 4 Pro.
Mine's like
Yeah, yours, you got the larger.
Yeah, mine, I've got
Well,
mine
the
right.
Phantom's a bigger one.
See, the bigger ones are stable, and when, and you can do a lot more picture taking, they go faster,
Cut you, wouldn't it?
but most of us,
Yeah, that's.
if I get outside this area, I can't see the drone anymore.
Right.
My eyes ain't that great. So, you know, in some ways, it's kind of a salvation to get the smaller drones.
Yeah, yeah.
And a gym is absolutely great until the heating kicks in. And then all of a sudden you're, because there's that much wind coming out of those
Yeah,
HVAC
it's
ducts.
crazy bad. I was gonna say, when you were talking about the how it's red lines and stuff, Jim launched a balloon out of his place one day, and I followed it out quite a ways. And I didn't even realize it did it, but it came up with a verbal alert and said, aircraft in the area. So it was, I was like, oh, didn't know it did that. but-
When you out at his place, yeah, you guys are in you're in the flight path.
Oh,
Yeah. And I definitely went the illegal route.
In the zone.
It was way out of sight, let me tell you, because I followed about a mile and a half out. And you can't see these things more than
That's right.
a couple hundred feet away.
Well, I flew my Phantom to 3 on a golf course on a cloudy day.
Oh,
And I got it about 600 yards out, it flew into a cloud,
gone,
and I thought I will never see it again.
yeah.
And I waited and I waited and I waited, nothing. I hit home and I thought, I should have checked that out before, see if that worked or not.
And here-
And I started packing up, and the next thing I knew, it was 90 feet in the air right on top of me.
Yep.
Came right down. Down.
You can
That's
send out, it might be.
that's what I love about it.
300 feet. That's so cool. Be out
I
there.
crashed too many of them, that's why I walked out.
Be out there a quarter mile.
It's like, where'd it go? I don't know. Oh, it's come right back.
Goes straight up, because it backs up, so it doesn't hit anything, you come all the way back.
Yeah. You know, I asked him.
That's good unless you lose it under a tree or under a bridge.
When you were with this, Bob, when we was gonna do that, when we did the antenna work down in UK on Anderson Tower,
Yeah.
Aspen was gonna come down and fly his drone over UK. Well, he checked with UK and he said,
Mine won't even fly that damn.
he won't even see it. Well, he didn't try. All I know is he asked and they said, no, absolutely not.
That worked.
You don't know?
Go ahead.
When, about a year ago, there was some drones flying over some military places. Did they ever figure out who was doing that?
They claim that they
Up in
didn't.
New Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah, they claim that they didn't. And the last reports were that it was misinterpreted as to where they were really flying. And people saw them and said it must be over the airfield and all this. Well, you can't really tell where something is. It's like looking at a cloud.
Yeah.
How far away is that cloud? And people see lights and so I think the official story is they really didn't fly where those people said they were flying.
And that's very, very likely, if you've ever flown model airplanes or drones, you know how hard it is to keep track of where they are,
Yeah.
really are.
Oh, yeah.
Spatial perception.
I crashed every model airplane I had that way, okay? Literally every one I had. I got out there and it's like, left or right?
The red tape
I know, I saw that.
is to try to tell what direction it is.
Yep.
If you fly this in a gym,
Yeah.
the gym in Winchester is a really nice facility, but it's got a whole row of windows on the one wall.
Oh, okay.
You get that thing in front of those windows,
You can't see it.
you cannot see which direction it's gone, and you can't tell what's forward and backward. And by the time the traditional way is where you kick the stick and see which way it goes.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah. Yep. Oops, that was the window.
We noticed the angle on those motors, that they're angled toward each other. Is there a particular reason?
That's the way it's designed.
Well, it gives you more
And they
rotation.
increase and decrease their speed in order to move around.
Yeah.
So that's all part of making them more effective. So straight up and straight down doesn't give them the latitude that they need.
if the way those are set up is, the diagonally opposite pair makes it turn one way and the other way. That's the way all quadcopters are. But the angle on those makes it about twice as effective for rotating it versus going forward.
Spin.
Yeah.
Good for that.
Okay,
It's a glorified gyroscope.
There you go.
There you go. Any other questions for Fred before we wrap it up?
Thanks again.
Yeah, let's thank Fred for.